What if you could retire tomorrow, not worrying about bills, mortgages, or the next paycheck? What if financial freedom wasn't just a dream for the ultra-rich, but a reality you could build? Most Americans imagine retirement as a distant milestone, a vague promise of relaxation and freedom after decades of work. Yet, for the average person, this vision often collides with reality. Mounting debt, minimal savings, and the ever-present worry about healthcare costs. The numbers are sobering. According to recent surveys, nearly half of Americans have less than $50,000 saved for retirement, and many rely on Social Security as their main source of income. Contrast this with millionaires, who often retire decades earlier than the average worker, enjoying not only comfort but real financial autonomy. So, what sets millionaires apart? It's not just the income. They didn't all inherit fortunes. The difference lies in mindset, habits, and strategy. Millionaires think long-term. Every financial decision is viewed through the lens of decades ahead rather than months. They prioritize saving, investing, and minimizing unnecessary expenses. They understand the power of compound interest, the importance of passive income streams, and the value of living below their means without sacrificing quality of life. Imagine applying the same principles to your own retirement plan. If the average American adopted millionaire habits, they could drastically change their financial trajectory. Retirement would no longer be a game of chance, dependent on luck or market timing. Instead, it becomes a predictable outcome of consistent, disciplined choices. You could live comfortably, pursue passions, travel, and support your family, all without the constant stress of money. In this series, we'll explore exactly how ordinary Americans could retire like millionaires. We'll break down the habits, the investments, the lifestyle choices, and the mindset shifts that create true financial freedom. By the end, you'll see that it's not about making millions overnight. It's about making smart decisions, starting today, that lead to a lifetime of security and abundance. Ever wonder why some people seem to have it all while others are always struggling? The secret isn't luck, it's daily habits. Millionaires aren't just lucky, they live with purpose and discipline. Their financial decisions aren't impulsive, they follow strict routines that maximize wealth over time. Take budgeting, for example. While the average American often treats a budget as a temporary or boring exercise, millionaires see it as a roadmap. Every dollar has a job, whether it's going toward investments, retirement accounts, or essential expenses. They know that small, consistent choices compound into massive results over decades. Another key habit is automatic investing. Millionaires set up systems so money moves from their paycheck into investments without them having to think about it. This removes the temptation to spend and ensures consistent growth. Meanwhile, many Americans delay investing, waiting for the right moment, which often never comes. Even starting small, if done consistently, can make a huge difference by the time retirement arrives. Avoiding debt is another hallmark. Millionaires distinguish between good debt that builds wealth, like a mortgage on a rental property, and bad debt, like high-interest credit cards. The average American, however, often carries multiple high-interest debts that drain their resources and make saving for the future almost impossible. There's also a psychological element. Millionaires think in terms of decades, not months. They delay gratification and resist the urge to splurge on fleeting trends. They see money as a tool to gain freedom, not a symbol to show off. This mindset shifts priorities from instant satisfaction to long-term security. Imagine if the typical American adopted even a few of these habits. Starting a simple monthly investment plan, cutting unnecessary expenses, and avoiding consumer debt could dramatically improve retirement readiness. Over 20 or 30 years, these actions would snowball, potentially providing a nest egg that rivals or even surpasses those who rely solely on high salaries. In short, millionaire habits are less about extravagance and more about consistency, planning, and discipline. By thinking strategically, controlling spending, and investing wisely, anyone can create a future where retirement isn't stressful, it's empowering. What if your money could work harder than you ever did? One of the most powerful secrets to millionaire-level retirement isn't a bigger paycheck. It's making your money work for you. Millionaires don't just save, they invest strategically. They understand that true wealth comes not from earning more, but from leveraging assets to generate passive income. Stocks, bonds, real estate, and business ventures all serve as engines that grow wealth over time, often outpacing inflation and even outpacing the highest-paying jobs. Take the stock market, for example. Millionaires invest consistently, often in diversified portfolios that include index funds, dividend-paying stocks, and growth assets. While the average American might keep savings in low-interest checking accounts, these investments allow money to compound over decades, turning modest contributions into substantial sums by retirement. Even a few $100s invested monthly, starting early, can grow into hundreds of thousands, or even millions, over time thanks to compound interest. Real estate is another critical tool. Millionaires often own multiple properties, generating rental income while their assets appreciate. Unlike the average homeowner who buys a single residence and bears all costs, they leverage property to create recurring revenue streams that fund their lifestyle. This kind of passive income provides flexibility and stability in retirement, freeing them from the dependence on Social Security or traditional pensions. Diversification is key. Millionaires rarely put all their eggs in one basket. They understand risk, balancing aggressive growth investments with safer assets to protect their wealth against market downturns. Meanwhile, many Americans invest sporadically or not at all, leaving their financial future vulnerable. Even small lifestyle adjustments make a big difference. Delaying major purchases, avoiding unnecessary debt, and consistently funneling money into investments transforms ordinary savings into extraordinary wealth. If the average American adopted these strategies, retirement could become a period of freedom and opportunity instead of financial stress. Ultimately, investing isn't about chasing quick wins. It's about patience, consistency, and understanding how money grows over time. Millionaires view each dollar as a soldier in their financial army, working tirelessly to secure their future. Ordinary Americans can do the same. By learning to harness the power of investments and passive income, they too can retire, not just comfortably, but like millionaires. What if retiring comfortably wasn't about luck, but about strategy? One of the biggest differences between millionaires and the average American is how they approach retirement planning. Millionaires treat retirement not as a distant dream, but as a predictable goal that can be designed, measured, and achieved. They maximize every available tool, 401ks, IRAs, Roth IRAs, and HSAs, not just to save, but to grow wealth efficiently while minimizing taxes. Consider the typical American. Many start saving late, contribute inconsistently, or rely solely on Social Security. This approach often results in financial stress and limited options in retirement. Millionaires, in contrast, start early and think long-term. They contribute the maximum allowable amounts to tax-advantaged accounts, take full advantage of employer matches, and continuously adjust their portfolios to align with their goals and risk tolerance. Take a Roth IRA, for example. Contributions are made with after-tax dollars, but growth and withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. Millionaires use these accounts strategically, combining them with taxable and traditional accounts to create tax-efficient income streams in retirement. This is far beyond the save what's left mindset many Americans adopt. Another key difference is diversification across income sources. Millionaires rarely rely on a single income stream. pensions, dividends, real estate, and investments are all coordinated to provide predictable, ongoing revenue. This reduces the risk of market fluctuations or unexpected expenses derailing retirement plans. Timing matters too. Millionaires carefully plan when to start withdrawing from different accounts to minimize taxes and maximize growth. The average retiree might withdraw haphazardly, facing unnecessary penalties or missed opportunities. Imagine if the average American applied these strategies, starting early, saving consistently, investing wisely, and coordinating withdrawals. Retirement could begin years earlier with far less stress and potentially allow for a lifestyle that most people only dream about. It's not about earning millions overnight. It's about disciplined, strategic planning over decades. In short, millionaire-level retirement planning combines early action, consistent contributions, diversified investments, and tax-smart strategies. By adopting these habits, ordinary Americans could transform retirement from an uncertain future into a well-planned reality of comfort, freedom, and security. What if the key to wealth wasn't how much you earn, but how wisely you spend? Millionaires understand a simple truth. Money is a tool, not a trophy. Their spending habits are deliberate, not impulsive. While the average American often splurges on luxury cars, trendy gadgets, or expensive vacations beyond their means, millionaires carefully consider every purchase. They prioritize value, longevity, and return on investment, whether it's a car, home, or even a daily coffee habit. One common practice is living below their means. Many people assume millionaires constantly flaunt wealth, but in reality, they often live modestly relative to their income. This doesn't mean deprivation, it means choice. By controlling expenses and avoiding lifestyle inflation, they free up more money for investments, savings, and experiences that truly enrich life. Another habit is spending on experiences rather than things. Travel, education, and personal development are investments in long-term happiness and productivity. Physical possessions often depreciate or drain resources, while experiences can build skills, networks, and memories that compound in value over a lifetime. Debt management is also crucial. Millionaires avoid high-interest consumer debt and carefully leverage good debt when it can enhance wealth, like a mortgage on a rental property or business loan. In contrast, many Americans carry multiple debts that eat away at their potential to save or invest, making retirement more stressful and uncertain. Budgeting is strategic, not restrictive. Millionaires track expenses meticulously, ensuring that money flows efficiently toward financial goals. Automation plays a big role. Investments, bills, and savings are often set on autopilot, removing temptation and creating consistency. Imagine if the average American adopted even a few of these spending habits. Savings and investments would grow faster, stress about money would decrease, and retirement could come sooner and be far more comfortable. The secret isn't earning more, it's making intentional choices, aligning spending with long-term goals, and using money to build freedom rather than instant gratification. By thinking like millionaires about every dollar, ordinary Americans could transform their financial futures. Discipline, strategic spending, and conscious choices turn everyday money into the foundation of a wealthy and secure retirement. What if the secret to a wealthy retirement wasn't just money, but your health? Millionaires know that true wealth isn't measured solely by dollars in a bank account. Health is one of their most valuable assets, and investing in it early pays dividends in retirement. A long, active life means more years to enjoy freedom, pursue passions, and spend time with loved ones, without the financial and emotional burden of chronic illness. Healthy habits are a priority, not an afterthought. Millionaires often schedule regular exercise, maintain balanced diets, and emphasize preventative care. They understand that staying healthy reduces medical costs, increases productivity, and improves overall quality of life. Meanwhile, many average Americans delay healthy routines or neglect preventive measures, leading to higher healthcare expenses and diminished energy during retirement. Mental health also plays a role. Stress management, meditation, and mindfulness are common habits among wealthy individuals. Financial stress, poor sleep, and unhealthy coping mechanisms can shorten careers and drain savings. By contrast, investing time and energy in mental well-being ensures both longevity and a more fulfilling retirement experience. Consider the financial impact. Chronic illnesses in later years can quickly consume retirement savings, especially without robust insurance or emergency funds. Millionaires mitigate this by prioritizing wellness early, combining medical checkups with lifestyle investments like fitness programs, healthy food, and even biohacking strategies. Every dollar spent on prevention often saves multiple dollars later in treatment costs. Lifestyle choices matter too. Millionaires avoid risky habits that could compromise health, like smoking, excessive alcohol, or poor nutrition. They often surround themselves with supportive social networks, which research shows can increase lifespan and happiness. Ordinary Americans adopting even a fraction of these habits could enjoy not only longer life, but a retirement free of debilitating medical costs. Ultimately, retiring like a millionaire means thinking of health as part of your wealth portfolio. Just as they diversify investments, they diversify wellness strategies, physical, mental, and social. By combining financial planning with conscious health choices, ordinary Americans could not only retire comfortably, but also live longer, fuller, and richer lives. What if the biggest barrier to your retirement isn't money, but the way you think? Millionaires understand that wealth begins in the mind. Their financial decisions aren't random or reactive. They're guided by a mindset focused on abundance, strategy, and long-term thinking. While many people live paycheck to paycheck, millionaire thinkers approach money as a tool, a resource to create freedom and opportunity rather than a source of stress or status. One key aspect is delayed gratification. Millionaires consistently choose long-term benefits over short-term pleasures. They resist impulsive purchases and focus on investments that will compound over decades. The average person, in contrast, often prioritizes immediate enjoyment, buying luxury items or lifestyle upgrades that provide instant satisfaction but little long-term financial benefit. Another element is embracing risk intelligently. Millionaires are not reckless. They assess opportunities, weigh potential outcomes, and make calculated moves. Fear of failure rarely paralyzes them. Instead, it informs careful planning. This contrasts with many Americans who avoid risk entirely, missing opportunities for wealth growth because they're uncomfortable with uncertainty. Millionaires also cultivate a growth mindset. They continually learn, adapt, and seek ways to improve their skills and financial literacy. Books, mentors, courses, and networking are all investments in their capacity to earn, save, and invest wisely. Ordinary Americans can emulate this by prioritizing education and personal development alongside their financial goals. Thinking abundantly is another hallmark. Millionaires believe there's enough opportunity and wealth to go around. This reduces jealousy, fosters collaboration, and encourages strategic partnerships that generate additional income streams. Scarcity thinking, the belief that there's never enough, often traps ordinary individuals in cycles of financial anxiety. Finally, millionaire psychology emphasizes control and responsibility. They take ownership of their financial future, understanding that excuses, procrastination, and dependency limit wealth-building potential. By adopting this mindset, ordinary Americans can shift from reactive money management to proactive financial design. In short, the millionaire mindset transforms retirement planning from a distant dream into a series of deliberate, empowered choices. Thinking like a millionaire isn't about privilege, it's about perspective. With the right mindset, ordinary Americans can unlock the behaviors and habits that lead to financial freedom and a secure, fulfilling retirement. What if your retirement wasn't just about you, but about creating a future for generations to come? Millionaires think beyond their own lifespan. They understand that true wealth isn't just accumulated, it's preserved, grown, and passed down. While the average American focuses on personal comfort in retirement, millionaires strategically plan for intergenerational wealth. This includes not only financial assets, but also knowledge, values, and opportunities for future generations. Estate planning is a central tool. Millionaires often use trusts, wills, and other structures to ensure their wealth is protected and efficiently transferred. They minimize taxes, avoid probate delays, and provide clear guidance for heirs. This isn't just about money, it's about control and security, ensuring that decades of careful financial planning benefit their family long after they're gone. Education and financial literacy are equally important. Millionaires often teach their children about money, investments, and responsible decision-making from a young age. This mindset gives the next generation a head start, reducing the likelihood that wealth will be squandered and increasing the probability of sustained financial success. Charitable giving is another aspect of legacy. Many millionaires strategically donate to causes they care about, creating impact while also benefiting from tax advantages. Ordinary Americans could adopt this practice, using philanthropy as both a tool for social good and a way to instill values in their family. Consider the compounding effect. A child who inherits not only money, but also a mindset of discipline, investment, and financial literacy is far more likely to thrive. Ordinary Americans adopting these principles could significantly improve not just their own retirement, but the financial futures of their children and grandchildren. Even small steps, creating a basic estate plan, educating family members about money, or establishing a savings fund for future generations, can have enormous long-term impact. Wealth, when thoughtfully managed, doesn't end with your retirement. It becomes a foundation for lasting security, opportunity, and freedom for those you care about most. Ultimately, retiring like a millionaire isn't just about comfort today, it's about designing a legacy. By planning for both their own retirement and the financial well-being of their family, ordinary Americans can turn decades of work into lasting prosperity and influence. What if the financial habits of a few became the norm for millions? Imagine a world where ordinary Americans approached retirement the way millionaires do. The social and economic consequences would be profound. Household debt would drop, personal savings would soar, and dependence on government programs like Social Security could decline. Individuals would gain financial freedom, but the ripple effects would extend far beyond personal wealth. One immediate effect would be a reduction in financial stress. Millions of Americans struggle daily with bills, mortgages, and unexpected expenses. By adopting millionaire habits, budgeting, investing, and strategic spending, people would enter retirement with confidence, not anxiety. Health outcomes might improve too, since financial stress is closely linked to chronic illness and mental health challenges. The economy itself could transform. With more Americans investing rather than consuming impulsively, capital would flow into businesses, real estate, and innovation, fueling growth. While consumer spending might slow slightly in certain sectors, the long-term effect would be a more stable, resilient economy driven by investments that create real value rather than short-term consumption. Social inequality could also be impacted. As more people build wealth systematically, the gap between financially prepared retirees and those struggling could narrow. Communities would benefit as households gain purchasing power, education becomes more accessible, and generational wealth reduces cycles of poverty. However, there are potential challenges. Shifts in spending patterns might affect industries reliant on consumer debt and high consumption. But these changes could be balanced by growth in sectors like financial services, healthcare, education, and technology, areas where investment and responsible planning generate real long-term value. Ultimately, widespread adoption of millionaire-style retirement planning could reshape society. Individuals would retire with security and freedom, families could pass down meaningful wealth, and the economy could become stronger and more resilient. It's a vision where financial literacy, discipline, and long-term thinking don't just enrich a few, they uplift millions. The lesson is clear. Retirement like a millionaire isn't just a personal goal, it's a societal game-changer. By thinking strategically, living below one's means, and investing wisely, Americans could transform their futures and, in turn, the country as a whole. What if the key to a secure, joyful retirement isn't more money, but smarter choices starting right now? We've explored the habits, strategies, and mindset that set millionaires apart. Disciplined saving, intelligent investing, strategic spending, prioritizing health, long-term planning, and cultivating an abundance mindset. But what if ordinary Americans applied even a fraction of these principles? The impact could be transformative, not just for personal finances, but for lifestyle, health, family, and society at large. Retirement like a millionaire isn't about luck or privilege. It's about making deliberate, consistent choices every day. It's about prioritizing financial literacy, creating multiple income streams, and understanding that every dollar has potential when managed wisely. Small, repeated actions, like automating investments, avoiding high-interest debt, or making healthier lifestyle choices, compound over decades into freedom and security. Imagine waking up in retirement without financial stress, able to travel, pursue passions, or support loved ones. Imagine leaving a legacy that empowers the next generation with both resources and knowledge. This is the reality that millionaire habits can create. And the good news? It's achievable for anyone willing to start now. The first step is simple: awareness. Examine your spending, your saving, your mindset. The next step is action. Automate investments, reduce unnecessary expenses, and invest in health and education. Then think long-term. Plan for retirement, consider legacy, and embrace the mindset of abundance and strategic risk. Each step builds on the last, and over time, the compounding effect becomes undeniable. In the end, retiring like a millionaire isn't a distant fantasy. It's a plan. It's a philosophy of life that combines financial discipline, strategic thinking, and holistic well-being. The sooner you start, the greater the freedom and security you'll enjoy. So, take a moment today to ask yourself, am I living like a millionaire? Even small changes can make a massive difference. Start thinking strategically, start investing in yourself, and start building a retirement that isn't just comfortable, but extraordinary. Your future self will thank you, and the life you dream of is closer than you think.